What is up, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of Father Dynasty. I'm your fatherly host, Chu, still in my basement because the studio's getting fixed right now, but here to talk a little fatherhood and a little Dynasty fantasy football. And with me, I've got a very special guest. If he were a Mortal Kombat character, his fatality would be the Philly Special. He is a writer from Fantasy Pros, host of the weekly Twitter space, Dropping Dimes, which you can check out tomorrow. Follow him on Twitter at JPep20. Joe Pepe, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I like the Mortal Kombat reference. We both know I'm trying to become Johnny Cage in the next movie. It's probably falling on deaf ears, but whatever. I'm going to try anyway.
I'm telling you, I think this thing's got legs, and we're going to make this thing happen.
I'm here for it, man. I'm ready.
Right on. Well, we're gonna jump into a nice little keep, trade, cut, nice little icebreaker for you and I. So, you ready for it?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
So I have to choose my favorite. I'm going to keep.
Oh, dear. I will trade.
This is kind of wild.
The cut is easy, and it's the last one.
Keep, trade, cut. Everybody knows it, or everybody hates it, possibly. It is, of course, the very useful fantasy football tool in terms of trading. What I do here, every guest gets their very own unique 3 topics for keep, trade, cut. Hopefully, it's very personal. Makes it a little difficult, but keeps it fun. So, are you ready for the first topic?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. So, I know you are 1-0 as a celebrity boxer, so this one will quite literally hit home for you. So, the ultimate fight. These are 3 fictional characters. This isn't necessarily who do you think you can beat the easiest, because 2 of these I don't think would be much of a fight. I think you got it. But we've got Dwight Schrute from The Office,
Okay.
Charlie Kelly from It's Always Sunny, and the last one is a pretty good fighter, Johnny Cage.
Okay. So I'm not beating Johnny Cage. Let's just be honest there. But if I am trying to be Johnny Cage, I guess that I'm calling that a tie. I can't say I lose. I'm terrible at doing that. I'm not worried about Dwight Schrute, though. He gives me that vibe, so we can cut him. I'm not worried about him. Like, he just gives me that vibe of like, oh, I do karate. And then you saw how he fought Michael. Like, it's not really fighting. He just, he's just an older guy trying to have some fun. But Charlie, you don't mess with people like Charlie, man. They're crazy.
That's right. Wild card.
It's wild card. That's literally, wild card. You do not mess. I don't know if you saw the episode where he starts taking the steroids when he's training.
That's exactly what
I'm not even messing with that. Just that laugh at the table alone, that's just sitting in my head right now. No, I can't be Johnny Cage because I want to be Johnny Cage. And then I'm not messing with Charlie, and I could beat up Dwight. Dwight, I think, is an easy one. Charlie, just depends if he's on steroids, I guess.
Yeah, he was scary looking at him and D both on steroids, just yelling at each other at the bar. So I don't want to mess with that.
One of my favorite scenes in that show. One of my favorite episodes. I just think that's so well done, so well written. But yeah, man, Johnny Cage, I was so mad when he wasn't in the first one. I was so happy that we saw, he's leading into the second one. But I'm not messing with Johnny Cage either. He's got that shadow kick, and he's got that other move that, as a man, I just don't want done to me. So, yeah, we're good. I'm not messing with Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage could beat me, but I'm going to try to be Johnny Cage. So I'm going to kind of cheat this question a little bit and say it's Charlie's the only one that could possibly get a victory over me.
I respect it, and I can cut all around that to just make it sound like you said you're going to beat Johnny Cage, so don't worry about it.
Perfect. That's all I need.
All right, well, second topic. So not so much fighting here. This is going to be never again. So keep would be what, of course, you want to keep and don't want to never again do. Cut would be what you would be okay with never doing again. Okay. And this is going to be tough. I know it is. So the first one is exercise ball trick shots. It's been a while, but I enjoyed them. The second one is wearing a costume, zipper up or not. It's up to you. Third one, toughest by far. Use the word behooves in any written form.
All right. So, oh man, that's a tough one. All right. So cut is the one I never want to do again, right?
Yeah, you can live with that.
All right. Yeah. I never want to do the costume with the zipper again. There's a bit of a little story behind it. When COVID started, there was, those birthday parties for kids. You're standing outside their window because you can't go in. Yeah. I helped a friend's company out as Superman. I was 165 pounds when COVID started. I am now 195.
There you go.
I don't fit in that costume anymore. but I was having fun with it, you know, but I don't need that thing ever again. To be honest, my girlfriend is going to chuck that thing as soon as she finds it. I tried to hide it again. We'll see how long that takes. The trick shots are coming back. So I guess we could keep, like, I'm going to do those again. They're being kept.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard it here first. We're getting that part of the gym renovated.
Gotcha.
So God forbid I kick one of those balls through like the drywall that's not finished, and I will never hear the end of it. So it's just on retirement right now. Basically, it's pulling like the the Brett Favre. It's going away for like a year, and I don't mean like taking money from people that are poor. I mean like I'm going away for retirement for like a year tops. Like, but it should be back by 2023, depending on how fast the construction work gets done. And then what was the third one? Behooves.
Behooves.
Yeah. I don't think I'm ever getting behooves in a sentence again. I felt fancy that day, man. Like that one might pop up. So I'll keep the exercise ball, and I'm definitely going to cut the zipper because I didn't say it on Twitter. It took way too long to get out of that damn costume.
When the zipper was that far down, I was like, I mean, there must have been some bit of like Crisco or something that made that thing happen.
It's like a giant onesie, and it was like stuck around my calf muscle, and I came like this close to cutting it, but I was like, no, I want to like wear this again to piss my girlfriend off, basically. And I was like, I gotta get this off. So like I'm literally like jumping in place, like trying to get my foot like out of this thing, and like all I did, it wasn't Crisco, but I actually got some of my water and like put a little ring around my leg, and then it finally kicked. It finally kicked. Thank God, because I'd be wearing it today. I'm not cutting that thing.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're hanging up your cape. Hopefully, it's just quite literally and not figuratively. So,
yeah, just the costume. That's all.
That's right. Well, the last one we've got, and you mentioned being competitive, champion for a day. So if you could only win, ranking these in terms of keep being, you could only win that one, and cut, of course, being not. How would it be for Scott Fishbowl?
Okay.
A home league. Maybe if there's a league that you've been doing for years and years, that would be the best thing just to rub in your buddy's face. Or an Eagles Super Bowl victory. I know they've won a couple. It may not be special at this point, but.
All right, so this is actually a little easier than I thought it was going to be for me. I will cut the home league because my friends in the home league don't even really care as much as everybody else. So it's really not that much fun. I either dominate it, or I have a bunch of injuries and like somebody gets lucky because they drafted like Debo last year, like, in the 12th round and just annihilated people. But I will 100%. Every single time, I would sell my soul for another night on Broad Street after Eagles win the Super Bowl. I took like 7 days off from work. I didn't even lie to my boss. I literally was like, hey, I'm going to be up here at the parade. I'm going to be drunk. You definitely don't want me in work today. Like, I know I didn't ask for a day off, but I'm just taking a day off because there ain't no way I'm working during this. So, yeah, 100%. And that goes for any Philadelphia team, Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, like you name them all, the Wings, the backup, yeah, cover that. The backup football league with the weird Philadelphia blob, the Stars or whatever they're called. Whoever wins, I'll take championships all day, every day. It's my competitive nature, but definitely the Eagles Super Bowl over everything. Scott Fishbowl wouldn't be bad, but Eagles Super Bowl every single time.
I respect that. And I mean, that definitely shows how special it is. I know within the last, say, decade or so, the Eagles have done well. Phillies have gotten better, of course. And I mean, there's been a lot of, in the last 10, 20 years, a lot of good Philly moments, really.
Yeah, we get real close every time. Kawhi Leonard's forward bounce shot. The Eagles make it to the championship game like 4 times. Like the Phillies do pretty well. They win one, they lose one, they just keep getting worse. Like it's just we get one, but then I'm competitive and I want everyone. I don't want another team to ever win ever again. Like I want football to be boring for everyone else, but entertaining for me.
I like it. And yeah, I think for the next Eagles Super Bowl victory, instead of Kevin Hart stumbling drunk onto that stage, I want it to be you. I don't know how that's going to happen. I want that.
Once I become Johnny Cage, we're going to make that happen. Yep. And I'll bring the costume back and I'll do a trick shot. I'll figure it all out in one night. We're going to wrap it all together like a giant package.
Yeah. I love it when a plan comes together. Oh, man. So the third one here, this is a bonus. I kind of peppered this one in. As you can see, a couple of posters behind me. So what would be 3 movie posters, assuming that your girlfriend and your dog could not veto your choices? Just to let you know, so my wife picked Pretty Woman, Harry Potter, and Mean Girls. And I went a little bit different, and I picked Anchorman, Boondock Saints, Jaws, and Goldfinger. So what would be your 3?
Well, first off, I like both sets of the movies that you just named for your wife, and you like that was great movies. So I know it's going to sound like I'm just saying it, but the old Mortal Kombat poster, just the the symbol, the fire, all that, definitely going to be on there. I, Robot, favorite movie of all time. Love that movie. Not even close for me.
Nice.
And then I don't know if you'll know it. Some people do, some people don't. I feel like you will though. Never Back Down.
Oh yeah.
It's such a bad movie, but I love it.
They made more of them too.
I don't know. I watched the second one and I was like, oh my God, but I can't find there's a third and a fourth one apparently. And I can't find where to watch them. Yeah. I can't believe Evan Peters came back for the second one. But the first one, I was like, this is great. I love the soundtrack. The training scenes are great. I was all for it. So those are going to be my 3 posters. Like you said, my girlfriend can't veto anything. My dog can't veto anything. I already have enough superhero tattoos, so the Marvel and all that I'll just put that on my body instead.
There you go. I was actually considering, so I got a couple of tattoos, but I am going to work on getting a full sleeve on my right arm. And what I'm considering is Scorpion's my guy from Mortal Kombat. I'm somewhat considering kind of getting that armor going down to having the scorpion on the wrist, the forearm.
Yeah. No, listen, that sounds awesome. You just got to make sure you get the right artist, obviously.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. I think my wife might disown me because when I just told her, I was like, yeah, the Mortal Kombat emblem, and she was like, absolutely not. And I was like, you're not going to like my sleeve idea then.
Yeah. Is it a 1 to 10? 1 you sleep on the couch for a couple of weeks, or 10 you get divorced?
I do enough chores around the house. It'll be a 5. I'll be all right.
Okay. We could survive a 5. I think you got to do it, man.
Oh man. Well, all right. So I think we're loose. We're ready to go. Just to run through your accolades real quick. I don't want to bore you because I know I know you're awesome. You get that, all that. But certified personal trainer, former minor league soccer player, which I'm a soccer player too, so I love to hear that. 2018 winner of the CBS obstacle course show TKO. Celebrity boxing 1-0 earlier this year. I believe it was in March. Is that correct?
Yep, in March. Yeah.
So my first 2 questions mostly are, can you also fly, and when do you sleep?
I cannot fly. I thought I could when I was younger, and it was a horrible accident of falling and losing all my skin on my face at one point. But that's a whole nother story. Sleep is a question that we were just talking about before the show. I don't get much. I don't get much sleep. I have this thing, and it's actually kind of tattooed on my back. It's this quote, and it says fear is an obstacle to some people. It's an illusion to me, but it's from my old coach. And the other thing my coach said to me, which I'm not going to put that on my back too, I can't give him the whole back. The other thing he said to me has always stuck with me. It was just this whole, when you sleep, when you rest, somebody else is getting better. If you're done training at 6 o'clock, they're probably training the 6:01. And I got obsessive. Wouldn't stop till 6:02. But then at 6:02, I thought the guy was training till 6:03. It became a real issue for me. So I pull it back eventually. My body shuts me off now at 33 years old, but gotcha. I'm just wired weirdly. I can't even give a real good answer for that. Something's wrong up here, and it's just I'm too competitive, and I need to be great at everything.
I mean, that's how you achieve greatness. That's being driven. It's being driven more than the next person.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. My only goal is they say that whole you die twice, once when you're buried and once when no one talks about you anymore. I'm trying to push off that second one as far as possible. Yeah. Because the way I drink and enjoy and get hurt in fighting and stuff like that, the first one's gonna happen a lot sooner than I like. So I need to push the second one off really down the path.
I like that. Spread those out. Good idea.
Yeah, exactly. Space is good.
Well, so what drew you into becoming a fantasy football content creator? How did that kind of come about?
It's gonna come up as a pretty funny story. One time I made a tweet. God, this is a while ago. Jeremy Hill was the context of the tweet, and
good start.
It was at Matthew Berry. It was the Bengals facing the Dolphins on a Thursday night game where Giovanni Bernard ran 150 yards left to right and then somehow scored a 20-yard touchdown. If you can remember what game that is, kudos to you. But it was a long, long time ago. And I tweeted at Matthew Berry because he did the love-hate article for ESPN. Well, he answered me back. And my phone never stopped. It blew up all day from every single one of Matthew Berry's Goonies. But I had never had more fun on Twitter that day than like debating points and stats. And, at that point, like, it was more like yards per carry. We weren't as deep into DVOA and all that type of stuff. We were just, and that was after a while, a lot of like the angry Goonies became like nice people to me. And we just had conversations. I'm like, I really want to do this. So like, I reached out to Bleacher Report. I had a few articles with them. And it's the same thing I did with getting into men's health. I emailed every single article editor, producer, anything that had a title in a magazine. I found their email and I annoyed the hell out of all of them. And I sent them all a sample article. And I was like, I'm going to do this because I don't shut up about sports anyway. So I might as well get paid for it.
Yeah, just channel it into something useful, right?
Yeah, I might as well make it useful because otherwise I'm kind of just wasting my time.
No, I mean, definitely maximize it. I mean, if you think about like what you do with your trick shots, what you do with fantasy, I know you, of course, have that Twitter space on Wednesdays. So, I mean, it's kind of just like you said, if you're going to talk about it, be about it, that kind of thing. Let everybody else hear about it. Let everybody else enjoy it. Let everybody else be a part of it too.
Yeah, and I found so many friends like yourself and a bunch of other people. Like I found like-minded individuals because my friends enjoy the sport, but they're not as deep into it as I like to get into. And half the time they're just like, hey, Pep, shut the hell up. Like,
what are friends for, right?
Yeah, you know how friends are. They're like, just shut the hell up, man. Like, so half the time I'm like, damn, I need like an outlet for this. So I'm glad that I basically was a troll to Matthew Berry. He beat me in a conversation. His Goonies came after me, and now I write for Fantasy Pros.
There you go. Well, I mean, in terms of, you kind of, I guess, touched on it a little bit, but I mean, in terms of like that work-life balance, again, I know you've got your own job, you have fantasy, you have everything that you do really. Is it kind of just you cut the sleep short and you just have that mindset that's on the back of your neck?
Man, it's tough. It's thank God I got a very understanding girlfriend. Like she's very understanding, very supportive, which is great. We sat down months ago, like before the season, like, and we just set up like, Monday you're going to do this for your fitness stuff, for your gyms. Tuesday you're going to do this for your spaces. Wednesday you're going to do this. We're going to leave these hours open. I'm a very, very regimented person. A very huge planner. It just comes from like my minor league soccer days. You woke up at 6, you ate at this point, you did that. It's just, I like that feeling and I like that checklist. It's almost like having the Apple Watch when the ring shuts for you. It's like a little bit of a, but I could always get more. Don't get me wrong. I could always get more. I just figure if I don't put all the work into it now, I'm going to be 50, 60, 70, whenever, saying like, damn, I wish I really just did this much more. Like this much more could have made the difference. So I forced it in. I forced it all in. Like I was literally just taking a nap 20 minutes before this because it was the only 20 minutes I had to take a nap. And I was like, I am not going to be tired on this podcast. Took a nap, woke up, downed an energy drink. So that's probably going to be a problem. And now here we are. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's kind of stands true to, whatever amount of time you give yourself to do something, that's how long it's going to take. I mean, I've kind of noticed that if you ever look at just like, if you're going to work and you're seeing how people finish things, it's like, yeah, I mean, if you tell them it's due Friday, they're going to give it to you Friday. If you tell them it's going to be Wednesday morning, they're going to get it to you Wednesday morning. Like it just kind of within reason. A lot of the times it's just whatever kind of funds you put on yourself, you can get it done.
Yeah. And to be honest, it's my competitive nature with Twitter. It forces me to do more. Like I'll see like you do something, or my friend Nick do something, or my friend Tom do something. I'm like, damn, I should have did that. And then like I want to add that like into my thing, and I want to do more, and I want to send out the tweet with like information that helps people in the same way. It's kind of that I can, I will, I must like theory from Eric Thomas, the motivational speaker. So like I just have to turn on like Eminem or something, or the fun fact, before every show I listen to the Mortal Kombat theme song. Nice. So yeah, before every single show, man, it's I really love that movie. Like I'm not kidding. And I just get after it because I'd rather do that. And my girlfriend would rather me do that because she doesn't want to hear me on the back end be like, oh man, I should have like really, saving her a headache. I'm doing it for her. It's romantic.
It's as romantic as I've ever heard it. Oh man. Well, so we talked a little bit about a home league. So what is, how long have you been playing it? Say, what is the oldest league that you've been in since you started, I guess?
So my oldest league is 15 years. We started it at like 15, 16 years old.
Okay.
But I had been doing my dad's league since I was like 8, 9 years old. He likes football, but he just didn't read the stats. And I was obsessed with stats as a kid. And I would go to his draft. And now back then, my dad's old as hell. You'd have to write everything down. You have to do the math every Monday, Tuesday, submit it on phone calls back then. For some reason, that's how they did it. You had to call the manager, the commissioner. But so I've been doing his since, I was 8, 9 years old. But my specific thing with my close group of friends has been since we were 15 years old. It's dwindled a bit. It was up to 14 and it's 12. You know how when you get older, some friends just kind of go by the wayside. We're down to 8, but it's actually funnier because at 8 teams, everybody has a shot. So even the 2, 3 people that don't really care and just do it so we have 8, the one won 2 years ago and drove us all mad, and we never wanted to talk to him for 3 months because he wouldn't shut up about it afterwards. So it's actually more fun that this league is 8 teams because it's just a lot of trash talking.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like when you get to that point, it's like you take out a couple of those people, that are less interested, that, don't stay involved in it. And I feel like at 8 teams too, I feel like not everyone's stacked, but certainly compared to a 12-team league, kind of stacked.
Oh, they're definitely way more stacked. I forget who it was last year, but somebody went down and I looked at the wide receivers like, this is the team's wide receiver 1. Just give me that.
I'll take those targets.
Yeah. So it doesn't take a lot of thinking, which is great because we're all in a bunch of other leagues at work and things like that. We just use this to literally be like, oh, Pepe's playing Ralph this week. And then I'll be trash talking Ralph all Sunday. Did you see what Mike Evans did to you? Or, Jonathan Taylor, blah, 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 blah. So it's really just the way for us to stay in touch. But it's Philly. So you know how we are in Philly. It's kind of mean. Some of the conversations get a little mean.
That's how it should be. I mean, that was honestly, the reason why I started this podcast. It was, so I've got a almost 4-year-old son and, a bunch of my buddies, they're kind of starting to have families. I live in Southwest Virginia. So people moved around to Charlotte, Florida, that sort of thing. So, we kind of spread out, but certainly playing Dynasty specifically. I mean, we're talking all year. We're talking about all the nonsense in the offseason about I had to see this draft pick who got hurt, what have you. So kind of a good reason to kind of stay in touch with people. And of course, I mean, getting a chance to talk to you, and I've gotten to talk to Alfredo Brown and Kyle Yates. And so being able to kind of talk with people in the fantasy space is pretty great too.
Yeah, no, that's why I love fantasy football, because you get to stay close with the people that you're pretty much already close with, but then you get to make friends on the back end too because of Twitter and everything else. Yeah. So it's just, we get to love our passion pretty much every day, except for, when players like DeAndre Swift don't help me cash in DFS. Now I don't like him. I don't like him until about Thursday, and then I'll rethink it. But for now, me and DeAndre Swift, we can't talk right now, except me and his dad are actually friends. So hopefully he doesn't watch this.
No way. That's fantastic.
His dad's in the fitness industry, and so am I in Philadelphia. So, we cross paths. We know of each other. Dude's scary. So if he's listening, I'm sorry. I love your son. I'm just kidding. But, maybe tell him to get the red zone targets and not get hurt. That would be fantastic.
You heard it here first. Yeah. Also, now I'm scared of him, so I apologize.
Yeah, it was Chew's fault, and he made me say it.
So, you're a Philly guy. How do you feel about your Eagles this year? I mean, I can. From what angle do you want? From the fantasy perspective, having just a loaded offense. I mean, from the perspective of they're atop the division. My family is all from upstate New York, so all Giants fans. So going into the season, I was like, I mean, I think the Eagles have it. I didn't think it was going to be this handily at this point, but I mean, they look like they're atop the conference at this point. What are you thinking?
I'm so afraid to talk about it because, how that happens when you talk about it. Yeah, knock on whatever you can, because, it's a scary proposition. We're a very good team, and we're a very good offense, and you would think that's where I'm excited about because, I do fantasy football. I loved those Jim Johnson defenses from the past. And we look like we have something like that again. We're rounding up sacks. We have linebackers again that can actually do things. And we're not even talking to Kobe Dean yet. He hasn't really been on the radar much, which is fine. He's coming back from injuries and all that stuff. But our cornerbacks, Like just having that like Lito Shepherd, Sheldon Brown type cornerback system again with Bradbury and Slay. It's just so beautiful because now we could slow down a Tom Brady's Buccaneers team and keep up with them a little bit better. Like you could stay pace. Like that was the problem with the playoff game last year was that our defense just couldn't hold them and our offense was shut down. So we couldn't win that game. There was no chance to win that game. We seem to have everything locked up, but having Jalen Hurts come out like after the game and saying like, yeah, we won 24-8, but I'm disappointed in how we played in the second half. That's what makes me excited because he still sees that there's like things to accomplish, you know? And that's the difference. I feel like I'm not trying to drag Carson Wentz here, but I don't know if I would have got that answer from Carson Wentz. And I like that a lot. And if we stay this dominant and we don't have to draft a quarterback because Jalen Hurts is that guy and we have 2 first-round picks next year, I'm never going to shut up on Twitter. Everyone's going to mute me. Everyone.
I mean, it's funny to think of how good they're doing. And then I was thinking about having those 2 first. It's like, can we no longer talk about either of those needs to be spent on a quarterback? Like, I feel like Jalen Hurts has been so not disrespect is not the right word because I understand it's a bit different. You know, his completion percentage wasn't great last season, but he got it done. And he's just an absolute leader on that team. And like, no matter what Howard Roseman says, no matter what fans, whether inside or outside of Philly say, he just gets it done. He blocks out the noise. He wears pretty dope outfits and he just wins.
Yeah. Listen, he's fantastic, and that's why I try to tell people. Like I was talking about it at work the other day, and they were like, "Wow, I can't believe he did this." And I'm like, "Guys, think about it. Last year, and this is no offense to Quez Watkins, but it was Quez Watkins and Jalen Reagor, who's now like the 4th-string wide receiver on another team. Yeah. Like it's hard to be good. You saw Brady leave the Patriots because they wouldn't give him weapons to do things. Like if you get the right weapons, you could be even better than you were the year before, where he was an adequate quarterback. Yes. His percentage could have went up. Yes, his decision-making could have went up. My biggest worry was his deep ball, but it looks like it doesn't loft as much anymore, which is beautiful. Like it looks like he's worked on everything. So honestly, I don't know what we have to work on for those 2 first-round picks. It might just be like best talent available at that point. I'm real curious where it falls, and this is nothing against the Saints, but I hope they lose every game for the rest of the year. You know, I don't want anybody to get injured. I just don't want them to win. That's all. That's, you know, I want that pick to be like a top 5 pick and people to be afraid of Philadelphia for years. That's what I want. I want ESPN to have to talk about us because they try not to. And I know they try not to. And I would still talk about Matthew Berry here, but he left.
No, I mean, I'm with you on the Saints talk. I'm a Panthers fan, so I'm cool with the Saints losing all their games. I'm sorry to say the Panthers will be right next to them, losing every single one of their games also. That's been rough. But and I did also want to say, you know, I appreciate you joined my best ball league for the quote unquote first birthday of my podcast. So I really appreciate that. And I know a lot of your content is DFS and all over Twitter with best ball and that sort of thing. So do you have a lot of those stacks, whether it be Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, that sort of thing, some Goddard in there maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I have a decent amount of Philadelphia stacks, but I think the biggest one, if I had to choose, was actually Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith. Because I love A.J. Brown, don't get me wrong, and I love Dallas Goedert, but they were just higher up for me in the ADPs where I wanted other people. Like, love A.J. Brown, but I didn't really know what I was getting. If it was, again, that boom-bust Titans guy that got injured, you know. So Devonta Smith, though, I knew coverages were going to roll. And I knew Devonta Smith was going to be a little more open with the way he runs routes. I was happy with it. I got a lot of Goddard. I got to tell you, I'm right now, so far through 2 games, I have like no Miles Sanders and a lot of Kenny Gainwell, and it's very upsetting. So, I mean, from an Eagles fan perspective, like whoever runs the ball, I don't even care. But from a fantasy perspective, I'm like, oh, damn it. Like,
yeah, with his offseason, I would not have guessed, especially that interview. I can't remember exactly what was said, but it was already building to that point, and then he had that interview, and it was like, and everyone just sold him on in fantasy. Like, he's gone.
Yeah, I guess like that contract year thing is coming out for him. I don't really know what changed from that interview, because when I saw that interview, I was like, oh, it's Gainwell. Like, it's Gainwell. It's Scott. I'm going to go Gainwell because he's late. You know, I'm going to figure this out. Sanders is going to get hurt. Now, again, it's only been 3 weeks. We don't know. This could change Sunday. But I hope not. As a fan, I hope not. I'd rather miss and just be wrong about Miles Sanders and have a slew of running backs. So I hope he stays healthy. But man, if he beats me in fantasy this year, I'm going to be so upset about it.
Oh man, well, we'll kind of get towards the end here. So I have a quote from you on Twitter again. You're very well known for great interactions, but also you do have very good, very inspirational quotes and that sort of thing. Of course, you've already shared a couple on here as well. So, but one that I had seen, I liked it a lot and kind of lead into a question. So you said the bottom of the market will always be saturated, but the top will always have blue waters. So kind of in relation to what that was answering, what is your best tip for content creators in the fantasy space?
Oh, man. I think I could drop like 10,000 tips, but I think the most important one is to know that you're going to get burnt out. I see so many people saying, like, try to avoid burnout with this and avoid burnout with that. But if you're trying for those blue waters at the top, you got to put the extra in, and it's going to happen, and you're going to get burnt out. You absolutely have to plan something that just involves putting the damn screen down, the phone, the computer, the iPad, however you do it. Just put it away. Like, man, again, my girlfriend has been very helpful with that. Like, she brought it up. She's like, you're just constantly like on, and I could see it's wearing you out. You need to like get off. You don't need to argue every point. And that's the only thing I'm going to merge into the first point of putting the screen down. You don't have to fight with every troll. I thought I did. I'm like, oh, it's going to boost my algorithm. Nobody cares. No, it doesn't help your algorithm at that point. Some people just want to watch the world burn, like the Dark Knight movie says, and it's just not worth it. So put the screen down, enjoy the day. If you're watching your home team, like when I watch the Eagles, I try not to be on my phone now because I want to watch the game. Last year, I was spending all day like, whoa, what a catch by Mooney, what a catch by Smith, what a run by Sanders. And I couldn't remember anything that was happening in the damn game. Like I missed it because I was looking down. So you're going to get burnt out. It's going to happen. I was literally texting earlier and I'm like, damn, I booked a lot of things this week. Like Friday, I'm just going to chill. Like you got to give yourself that break because you're going to hit burnout if you're really, truly pushing for this. It's going to happen. It's a 20-week season and there's still the off-season stuff you want to do. Just find a way to work in some life and do it without screen time. No Netflix, no iPads, no phones. Go out, take your girlfriend or husband or whatever on a date, like whoever you are, just get away from the screens, have real human interaction. It recharges you 10 times faster than anything else, I promise you.
I mean, I love to hear that. It's kind of great to hear kind of the opposing things of, driven, competitive, and also balance. Like, it's tough to find those two, I feel like, in the same person. I think that's truly a great balance in terms of being able to be successful and also make it longevity as well.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's not easy. Like I said in the beginning, like with soccer, I got obsessive over it. Yeah. There's going to be days where you fail that. It's just trying, like having an 80-20 of not failing, having a balance during the week. 80-20 rule is like my thing for everything. So it took a while, and you're going to have mistakes. You're going to stumble. You're going to fall. But like, just know that it's possible. It's very attainable to have everything you want goal-wise and still have a life, still be happy, not be miserable and pretending to be happy. So just put the screens down. I know you're watching this probably on a screen, so put it down after this, but after this entire thing. Yeah, after this entire thing, then put the screen down, breathe a little bit, go talk to somebody. I promise you, it makes the day a whole different level of happiness.
I love the advice, and much like I think you're going to have me beat up by DeAndre Swift's dad, I'm going to tell my wife that why all the screens are broken in the driveway. Be like, Joe just told me to get rid of all my screens. I'm done with this stuff. So talk to him.
I'm going to get beat up by your wife, man. Like she's going to kick me around town. Like,
well, I know you had to do a lot of talking right there, but I always like to give the guest the final word. And again, I like to leave it open. I know you want to do, your shout outs and everything. You can have a quote. You can have a cheers. I added this one recently. You can have an insult if you want to throw that out to somebody. So whatever you got, you get the final word.
Oh man, the insult one. That's a new one. I like that concept. I'm not going to insult anybody, and I'm not going to get like inspirational or anything. I think I just want to give a shout out to pretty much everybody on Twitter, whether it's you, whether it's my friend Nick, Tom, Zach, Alex Mateo, Fantasy Pros in its entirety. Like, it's a great community when people aren't arguing in the wrong way. We could debate. We can all debate, and I'm fine with that. But man, there's no like thrill of knowing somebody else who likes something that you're passionate about as much as you do. So I'm just thankful for that community because I really don't know how much fun football would have been like during that first COVID year if I didn't have my friends from Twitter to talk with and be in leagues with. And, you know, anytime I'm like, oh, I got to scratch my itch for like a league, you guys are there every time. I just got to be like, hey, can I do a league? And I get like 9 requests to like join. And I'm like, I'm in for all 9, you know, like,
that's right.
So it's a great community. Like, take advantage of it. Like, anybody listening, collaborate. Like, because even if it's not going to lead you anywhere, even if you're just like, oh, this is a hobby, you make friendships that you don't even realize you're going to have for the rest of your life. So just collaborate as much as you can. Enjoy it because the people you meet on here are actually really great people. And it just sucks that they're not right next door to you.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's sage advice. You know, I appreciate you coming on. And
anytime, man.
We'll work on that Johnny Cage casting. I can't believe that they would want The Miz over you. I mean,
I don't know, man. I like The Miz. He's a good dude. He's a great actor. Like, I get it. He's a wrestler. But you know what? Like, no one's going to train harder for it. No one has watched this damn movie more than me. I don't even care about the people that were in the movie. No, I seen it more. The editors, no, they didn't see it more. I saw it more. Like, there's nobody who's going to care as much as I do. And there's nobody who thought he was Johnny Cage from, like, the 6 years old on, walking around with like no shirt and really stupid glasses that, oh, those were $500. Like, you know, like I was obsessed with that character. So if this somehow gets back to them, let me be Johnny Cage, please. Or just let me be in the movie. I'll take that. But Johnny Cage, put me there right now.
Okay. So at the very least, we're going to get you in the back and you're just going to go, whoopsie.
Yeah.
Done.
Let me be that guy. All for that. All for that. I would do that in a heartbeat just to say I was in Mortal Kombat.
I love it. Well, Joe, you know, I appreciate you and looking forward to catching up soon, brother.
Yeah, definitely, man. Always in for this.
See you, buddy.